Joey Styles is knocking President Barack Obama, who, as we speak right now, is live on the air, talking about the way that he's going to fix some things with the General Motors bankruptcy, talking about his new appointment to the Supreme Court, talking about some of the steps that he's made. He's done more in 4 months than the previous administration did in 8 years to get the country back on the right track. But Joey Styles is calling Barack Obama a Marxist. He's saying Notre Dame should have been ashamed for having him speak there because he's pro-choice, blah, blah, blah. And I tell you, I agree Notre Dame should be ashamed that there was even any debate about it, because they're a university where young people are supposed to be taught facts by people who are distinguished in America, and not a church where people are brainwashed or whatever by the abortion issue. So I don't know Joey Styles. I met him a couple times, but I understand that he fancied himself hot shit as an announcer from other people. And maybe he might have been when he had the benefit of ECW's 48-hour editing sessions and Paul Heyman in his ear telling him every word to say. But on his own, I don't believe he could carry Dave Brown's jock, much less be viewed in a group with Jim Ross or Gordon Soley, Lance Russell, or whatever. But Joey Styles is also apparently one of these conservative right-wing whack jobs that just can't accept the fact that we had this little deal last November called an election, where the Republican ideology got slapped down, and finally we got a president who realizes it's 2009 and not 1909, and I guess he's pissed off about it. Now, I can understand 4 groups not liking the fact that Barack Obama is president. Rich white-collar criminals, white Christian evangelists, members of the KKK, and maybe white people from West Virginia and Mississippi. And I don't know which group that Styles belongs to, but maybe he just doesn't believe that women should have the right not to ruin their lives with unwanted, unplanned children that they can't afford or can't take care of, so that they grow up to become criminals because they had no home life, they had no proper parenting. Or maybe Joey Styles doesn't believe that gay people should have the right to get married and be happy like everybody else, or handicapped people should have the right to support stem cell research. So one of these days, through science, something the Republicans don't recognize, handicapped people or people like them may be able to live a normal life. Children shouldn't have the right, I guess, to learn science and evolution and astronomy and things like that in school that allows them to get good jobs and earn decent money, and not that the earth is 6,000 years old, was created in one day, and human beings popped up fully formed, and they had no trouble at all until a talking snake screwed the whole thing up. Or maybe Joey Styles doesn't believe that the rest of us in the richest, most advanced country on the planet should have health care that doesn't cost as much as a new car every year, or the right not to go bankrupt if we get sick with no insurance. Or maybe Styles is related to the head of one of these big pharmaceutical companies or oil companies that rape us every time we take a pill or fill up our tanks. Or maybe Joey Styles is a multi-billionaire, and all these alleged sky-high taxes that Barack Obama is going to level on us are going to cost him way more than the 50% that we all lost on our retirements or our stock market funds under his good buddies President Dick Cheney and Vice President George W. Bush, because we all know who was running things. Maybe Styles never went to school and didn't learn the lesson of the first Great Depression, when FDR did the same thing that Obama's doing, stimulated the economy by making massive investments in rebuilding the crumbling infrastructure, planning to take the country into the future and putting people back to work to do it. Maybe Styles overlooks the fact, or maybe he's just not bright enough to know, that the only reason it took so long and got worse before it got better back then was because the obstructionist Republicans, who haven't changed their tune since the Great Depression, badgered and blocked everything that he did and caused him, FDR I'm talking about, to back off before that the job was done, and we had to get the biggest world war ever waged before they'd get out of his way. And I'm just sick and fed up. I listen to the news every day. I listen to this conservative talk radio in the car because I want to get mad because I'm driving a long way and I want something to keep me awake. The Republicans drove the country in a ditch. They're complaining about the cost of the tow truck. The Republicans scream about the loss of all of these freedoms and liberties and constitutional rights after 8 years of an administration that subverted and circumvented, outright ignored more of the Constitution than any other in history, refused to grant all those groups that I mentioned and more of them their civil rights because it conflicts with what they get told in church on Sunday. And the whole church and state thing is covered in the Constitution too, by the way. But maybe Joey Styles likes the idea that his previous administration responded to the worst attack on the U.S. ever worse than the bombing of Pearl Harbor, for fuck's sake, by going to war with the wrong country, never getting close to catching and bombing the shit out of the guy that really did it, and spending almost as much money to do that over the past 8 years as Obama wants to spend to save the whole freaking country's economy. Or maybe Joey Styles likes the idea that under Republican ideology, after 2,000 years of this shit, the Christians and the Muslims are still playing a game of my God can whip your God, only instead of rocks and spears, now we're using nuclear weapons, and all the rest of us who have sanity, reason, and logic going for us are going to be fucked up too when this Dark Ages shit hits a 21st century fan. Maybe Joey Styles doesn't really believe any of this shit. He's just trying to blow Vince McMahon to get back on the air somewhere, because I guess Vince is a big-time Republican too. We never talked about politics when I was there, but I guess he is now. That's what I hear on the internet. Maybe Styles is like Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity or all these people I listen to that are, you know, they're too smart to really believe the shit that they say. They're heels cutting promos, and it's obvious, and they're doing it for the marks that are dumb enough to believe it, and they get paid big money to do it. But in the process, they're convincing these other mullets that what they're saying is true, and they're dividing the country, just like Cheney, who can't stop talking about how we were right, and go the fuck home like Bush had the good common sense to do and get out of the fucking way. They're dividing the fucking country. I don't care about Joey Styles either way. He can turn blue or roll over for all I care. I'm just sick of all these assholes squealing like a pig under a gate about everything that this guy is trying to do, being un-American, because it's going to affect their church service, their secret offshore bank account, or just piss them off because he's right and they're not. And what's more un-American than publicly hoping the President of the United States fails? That's like hoping the pilot of your airplane fails because you don't like his opinion on global warming. We're all in this together, you fucking morons. You hope he fails. If he fails, we're fucked. Jesus, there's enough poor, white, uneducated Christians in this country that could be rabble-roused to do something screwy by these nut-job politicians and commentators saying these things on national radio and television. And the best thing they can come up with, Obama uses a teleprompter. Obama uses a teleprompter because he's got something of substance to say and wants to convey the message. Bush didn't use one because he probably couldn't read English much better than he could speak it, and all he had to say was, trust me and God bless America. He ought to have added the checks in the mail and won't come in your mouth. The Republicans don't like people who take it up the ass, but they haven't had a problem giving it to us for the last 8 years. And one last thing. Do anybody out there, does anybody honestly think if there was any real evidence of scandal or dishonesty or malfeasance in Barack Obama's personal or political life? Did he cheat on his wife? Did he take a payoff? Was he really not born in the United States of America? They went there. Do you not think that somebody would have proven it by now before a black guy named Barack Obama got elected in the first place? More people were trying to keep him from getting elected than were trying to prosecute Charles Manson for the Sharon Tate murders. You fucking morons. You knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing idiots. We have finally got a fucking guy that's clean, that they don't like and they can't stand it, and maybe Joey Styles and all the rest of the people who believe that this brilliant, analytical, sensible, reasonable guy who's like, we've hired a professor to solve our problems, all you people that believe he's a socialist or a Marxist or a radical or whatever, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of his way, and let him try to fix our shit before it's too late, and in 4 years you get another chance to knock us back into the 19th century. And until then, in the meantime, Joey Styles could blow me. At least the little midget won't have to bend over to do it.
Wow.
I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed.
Jim, I only have 3 words after just hearing that promo you cut.
What?
Oh, my God.
It makes me want to tear my hair out of my fucking head. This guy is actually talking to us instead of at us, and they won't fucking listen. He's got every brilliant mind that he can gather that has a vision for the future standing behind him every time he does anything. He's assembled a all-star team for every problem. He's trying to fix everything at the same time. They say he's not doing too much. But if he didn't do anything about something, they say, well, he's doing too little. You can't fucking please them because they can't stand the fact that this guy is smarter than all of them and doesn't agree with any of them. Fuck them. Stay the fuck out of my country, you fucking morons. I'd like to make my fucking money back I lost the last 2 years. I'd like to have bridges that don't fucking fall down when I drive over them. I'd like to have civil rights for everybody and not just fucking people that can buy them. I'd like to not pay a fortune for my fucking health care on the theory that one of these days I'm going to have a heart attack because of some of the shit that they put me through. And fuck Vince McMahon and his Republican shit too. How about that?